The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Brad Marcus, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest hails from Maryland, that's on Earth or Midgard to any of our Marvel-obsessed listeners, and began wrestling in 2020. She trained at the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy under Merrick Brave and someone named Seth Rollins, and has worked for such promotions as Beyond, GCW, Women's Wrestling Revolution, Camp Leapfrog, Lehigh Valley Athletic Council, Titan Championship Wrestling, has shared the ring with the likes of Riley Shepard, Little Mean Kathleen, Masha Slamovich, Holodev, Ryan Nova, Debbie Kane, and I could go on. So let's welcome today's guest, someone who rejects the belief that there's something called Hollow Earth where King Kong lives. I give you the Good Witch, the Conduit of Karma, Kaia McKenna. Hey, Kai, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for coming on this evening. I appreciate you giving me this time, at this time of night, of course.
Oh, of course, anytime. I don't mind coming on and chat with you, Brad. It'll be a good time.
Don't say anytime, because I'll take it. As we alluded to when we spoke earlier, I don't have the intellect to not stop myself from doing that. But anyways, we'll get this out of the way right now. How's your shoulder doing?
It's better. It's going slow and steady. You know, I'm a very driven person, so I've had to really dial it back and tell myself it's time to be reasonable and let my body heal. Yeah. But I've been like trying to get a lot of sleep, eat good meals, like go to the gym and do what I can. So like nothing that's going to strain my shoulder, but you know, still trying to stay active. A lot of band exercises, a lot of ice, a lot of I love CBD. Has been really helpful in the recovery process. So just everything I can use in my power to make this go faster.
Do you have to sleep? Like, did you have to like learn to sleep a different way? So you're not on your shoulder? I've had
a shoulder injury previously. I've had two shoulder injuries previously, one on my left and one on my right.
Oh, geez, of course.
And it's like, I don't know, the first thing you do, like when you're still real fresh off the injury, like you don't want to lay on that side because that's not a good time. So I just built a giant fort of pillows around myself in my bed so I wouldn't do the gator roll of death while I was
my gosh,
on my shoulder.
And it feels like you've been electrocuted, like when it happens.
It'll wake you up like that. But I'll do that, or if I lay on my opposite side, so like it's my right shoulder this time, so I can lay on my left side, and I'll just like, I have this little stuffed shark that's like the perfect size to go underneath my arm, and it like supports it while I sleep. So I'm trying to like be very aware and take care of it, because like I said, I move when I sleep, so if I didn't have a pillow for it, like I would be rolling.
Yeah, that could be dangerous.
Be a problem. Yeah.
Do you sleep with a dog?
Not when I'm injured, but yes, I do typically sleep with my pug, but I have like a stuffed animal that I use with my arm to support it.
So there's no chihuahua that's going to possibly one day be rolled over on.
I mean, I have a pug, but like when she sleeps, it's like just having a boulder in the bed. Like she doesn't move. Like wherever she falls asleep, that's where she's at. But like, you know, you better hope that when she falls asleep that you have all the blankets you want, that you're comfortable and you're laying on the right side, because her ass ain't moving to the morning.
yeah. I sometimes feel guilty at night. Like I'll get in bed after the dog has gotten in bed, and like I feel guilty, and I'll like sleep so contorted.
Oh yeah, like you're making them uncomfortable. I can grab, she's literally right here. I'll grab her.
Yeah.
Cameo real quick.
For
Come
sure.
here, baby. Oh gosh, I'm disrupting you. I know you wanted to put. She was sitting with her butt right on my pillow that I put my face on. So this is good. She's not there anymore.
How
This
old?
is the Empress. She's 9.
Oh my gosh. How much is she? Did I just hear her like, oh?
Oh yes, she's very vocal.
Oh my gosh. How much does she weigh?
Oh, like 15 pounds maybe.
She
Not
literally,
very big.
it looks like you're holding a stuffed animal. Besides it's moving its head a little bit.
Yeah,
It looks like a
she's
combination
sweet baby.
stuffed animal and a cat.
Almost. She's like
Do
a
you
little
bring
gremlin.
Do you bring her with you as often as you can when you go
As
out?
often as I can. It's I'm gonna put her back on the bed so she's comfortable.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, as often as I can, I will bring her. She likes to hang out with people and meet people in wrestling, and she loves attention. So there's always people willing to give her pets. It's a little hot right now, so I've not been taking her on the road because, pug
I
and
put
the
her through
squishy
that.
little nose and
Yeah.
the breathing is
Do you have
that's
to
a
like
factor.
are you constantly cleaning like the folds and the
Yes, I
stuff
wipe
from
her
the
little
eyes?
face and I wipe her little ears and I wipe her little paws. She's very well cared for.
Yeah.
She truly lives like an empress.
Does she
And
get a slobber all over? And I only say this because I had an English
Thankfully,
bulldog.
she doesn't drool. She does shed. Pugs shed a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised to
and
hear
I wear
that.
a lot of black clothing, so I'm just constantly covered in dog fur. And it's
So
like,
do you always
look
have
at
those
me.
rollers around?
I've just given up. I'm defeated at this point, and I'm just like, people look at me, and I'm like, yeah, I own dogs. Deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
it's not, I don't own an alien. This is not anything. So you have like a very positive attitude. Is it frustrating at all, like having this injury?
Oh, it's immensely frustrating because I'm such a go-getter. Like, I usually wake up in the morning. I work from home full time. So I wake up in the morning, I have a coffee, I make breakfast, I go to CrossFit, I go to the gym, I go train. I'm always, or I'm at a show or traveling. Like, I am always on the move. Like, I am not somebody to just hang around and do nothing.
Yeah,
It's been very difficult for me to kind of dial it back and not be able to work out the way that I typically do and do the way I typically do. And as the weeks have gone by, I've kind of regained a sense of normalcy. I can reach stuff and get it out of cabinets again, and I can dress myself and stuff again. But it's still tough. I have.
What do you mean dress yourself again? You couldn't.
Well, when your shoulder's messed up, try getting out of your clothes, right?
Oh, wow, that's
wow. You can't. For the first week, it's kind of sore, and you can't really move it because I had a dislocation. So. Mama Witch was very, very helpful at helping me brush my hair and all of that stuff. Unless you're good at doing it with your opposite hand, which I'm right-handed and it was my right shoulder, so I was really a detriment.
Oh,
but
can you drive?
It's not been bad. It's just, pardon me.
Can you drive?
I can drive.
Okay.
Yes, I can drive now.
Okay.
So it feels better day by day, but it's just and then the little points of frustration, when I was in the gym today, I was I'm going to do a good morning, and I didn't even have a barbell. I just used the PVC pipe, and as soon as I grabbed it, I could feel it, and I was like, oh, can't do that. So having to tailor your workouts and adjust. I just think there's going to be a lot of leg days for me over the next coming weeks.
Totally.
Lots of legs, lots of lunges and squats and glute bridges and wall sits and things that don't necessarily affect my shoulder.
Well, whatever. Everything will be ready though when you're ready to use your shoulder again.
Yeah, I'll have a nice strong base. I'll be ready to go.
Do you get to hang out with your friends and your family more? Is there anything positive that's come out of it?
I've gotten more sleep, which has definitely been a positive. I live with my family right now. So when the pandemic hit, my day job office closed, and I didn't renew my lease, and I just moved back in with my mom and dad because I was
awesome.
I work from home. I don't need to be paying $2,000 a month in Washington if I don't have to. So I've just kind of been hanging out with my parents now for a full year and a half, and it's been great because they've been very supportive of me wrestling and even taken me to shows and dropped me off at the airport and done stuff that
cool.
When I was living by myself I would have had to figure out what I was going to do. So they've been great. They're awesome. And
they must love it, having their daughter, back in the house again.
Yeah, that's what I tell my mom all the time. I'm you get me all the time. Most people go to college and then that's it. Forever. And I'm surprise, I'm back.
My kids asked me yesterday if they could live
with
without
food and sleep in your bed.
Who's responsible for putting the meals on the table at night, if you don't mind me asking?
It's kind of split duty. We all like take turns. Sometimes I
Okay.
do meal prep, so I've been doing that right now because with not being able to do as much in the gym, I figure, okay, I gotta kind of watch my diet because I don't want to like slack on that, and that's something I can control.
Yeah.
So I'll do that, or like we are fortunate to live. We live in coastal Maryland. The weather's been great, so we do a lot of grilling. Like my dad will grill for us. My mom makes stuff like mom food. Everybody has mom food, right? Like that their mom makes. It's really good.
Is laundry every man for himself?
Every man for themselves.
Oh, okay.
Laundry and bathroom is your deal.
Did you watch the Super 8? I don't know when it came out. I know it was. I watched it today. Are you able to watch it?
I watched it back. I didn't get to watch it originally because I was supposed to be in the Super 8, and I was very, very, very depressed when I woke up that morning. So instead of sitting around in the house feeling sorry for myself, I got dressed and went to the gym and tried to focus on getting better and what I could control in that moment. But I have since watched it back, and I thought it was an incredible tournament. And I just also thought it was really cool that Megan was able to come in as a replacement and take that trophy home.
Yeah,
and she's just so beautiful and strong and incredible. And it was just an amazing performance from her on all accounts. But I loved seeing like Damaris go out there and do her thing. I think she's an incredible performer as well. She's so well-rounded and so well-versed in the ring. And seeing like Adina in there killing it, she was incredible too. And Ashley has been everywhere killing it, doing her thing. So it was really just nice to see all of these ladies coming together with this like divine feminine energy to put on this amazing tournament for us to watch.
Do you have to tell yourself like, okay, I have a shoulder injury. It's not career threatening. I will eventually be back there. Like, do you have to like talk to yourself like while you're watching it?
All the time.
Oh, God.
You really have to like get yourself into the right headspace so you're not like frustrated about your situation, because you can only control certain factors, and this is just unfortunately something that's like out of my control for the time being. So I just have to focus, not worry about what I couldn't do, but focus on what I am going to do when I get back. And that's where my energy needs to go. Like 40 years ago, you would have been done. Your career would have been over. I don't know if a dislocated shoulder would have done it. I mean,
it's crazy. I remember a guy like I think it was 1988. The basketball player tore his ACL, and he was never the same. The recovery was like a year and a half.
Like, your whole knee explodes now, and it's like, oh, I'm back in 5 months.
No totally.
It's just medicine's incredible, and the human body's ability to recover is incredible. I think a big part of that, though, is just having the support of your family and having access to good medicine and being compliant in your care, and like not fighting your doctors, and like doing what you're told, and like doing all of your physical therapy, and like not feeling sorry for yourself. Like you have to take initiative in your own recovery and get yourself where you need to be. You can't just like sit around feeling sorry for yourself. It's like, okay, this happened, let's get it fixed and keep moving forward.
It's not a vacation, but like, because you have to be ready to get back to work.
It's not. I mean, honestly, like once I was cleared to go to the gym again, I felt so much better because I was just going crazy sitting in my house. Like I couldn't do it. It was really making me nuts, even if it was just like, okay, I'm just going to go today and like do some like really basic stuff and like ride the bike, but it's better than nothing. And that has made me feel better. So
can you watch and this goes for like, even when you're not, when you haven't been injured, can you watch wrestling for entertainment value at this point?
I sit around and watch wrestling all the time. This is not new. I'm currently in the process of, I'm currently rewatching The King's Road. I'm like in the year 1990, so it's just about to watch like the Super Generation Army versus Dumbo Saruda-gun. I was really excited about that. Yeah, I'm a huge wrestling nerd. Like I love Japanese wrestling. I like lucha. I like mainstream wrestling, WCW, ECW, WWE. I'm a huge Michinoku Pro fan. Like,
oh wow, so you've gone back and like watched like old stuff because
I grew up watching Ring of Honor as a teenager. Like that was the first like delve into the indies that I got into in like 2003 and 2002. And I'm probably making myself sound a little bit old now.
No, I'm way older than you.
Yeah.
Probably 20 years at least.
I've always just been a huge wrestling fan and just like a big student of the game. And I love that like I have the time now to sit around and watch wrestling because I can just sit and watch stuff. And we all have phones with screen record now. So like I can screen record
Yes.
stuff and like take it to training and learn. And it's just to me like to be able to absorb and like just have all of it at my fingertips. It's not like tape trading, right? Like now you just go on the internet and like go to archive.org and find whatever the heck
Like,
you want to watch, you know,
from your
like,
bed.
it's all there.
Yeah,
All
you'd be
there.
laying in bed and watch something that like 30 years ago, you'd have to have a big tube TV and pay a ton of money to watch something
I know.
from that far
I'm
away.
a huge Misawa fan. He's one of my favorites. I think he's the GOAT. This can be argued up one side and down the other. Everybody has their own GOAT. But in my opinion, Misawa's the GOAT. But I love watching like All Japan from the 90s. I think that's some of the best wrestling out there to consume.
So where did you grew up in Maryland?
I did grow up in Maryland on the Eastern Shore.
Okay, so were you close with your family? Did you have a big family in the area?
I did not have a big family. I was raised by my mom for the most part. My mom remarried when I was a teenager.
Okay.
But she always like took me and then my stepbrother to wrestling. And we weren't like one of these families that was like super well off. So even if I make it, like you're never gonna see pictures of me like at meet and greets or at pay-per-views because it just wasn't something that was like within our range. But every time a house show came by, she would take us to that or like, you know, smaller little indie shows and make sure that we were getting our wrestling fix. Yeah, my mom's a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, so she was a fan prior to having
my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, like my stepbrother, my dad, like everybody likes wrestling. Like
okay, go all the way back. Go all the way back. How did your grandmother get? Like, who exposed her?
I have no idea. I remember her watching it when I was a kid, right? Like, and it's just. My grandmother has since passed, so I never really got to like quiz her on all of that because she passed when I was 13. So I do not have the knowledge that I have now. But yeah, it was always in the house. Like we would watch Monday Night Raw together and eat dinner. Like it just was part of my upbringing. And I feel very lucky because there are a lot of people that I've met in wrestling who don't necessarily have the support of their families when they're doing this. And it makes me really sad. And I just feel very fortunate that I have such a good support system that, you know, is willing to do stuff like that for me.
Is your mom's husband, was he a wrestling fan too?
Yeah.
Or did he become one? Oh, really?
Yeah. He likes Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's a dad's favorite.
You know, I wish there was like on these dating apps something about like interests. Because I
don't do dating apps. That's scary.
I really
the
blew
internet
it.
is scary. I only
I know.
I have to.
But if I met someone who loved wrestling as much as I did, that would be amazing. But
it's very hard. Like I've had relationships where my partner has not been interested in wrestling, and it's very very difficult because it's something that when you like wrestling, I don't know many people who just casually like wrestling. Most people who like wrestling really like it. Yeah,
if someone's gonna date you,
I mean, it pretty much is. Like, I would want somebody that I can enjoy wrestling with. I mean, you would ideally want to find a partner that enjoys the same things you do, whether it be like, let's say you both enjoy going to concerts, or you both enjoy, like, let's say you both enjoy playing golf, or whatever you need a similar interest. And I think that sometimes when you have, like, massive discrepancies in your interests, like, that never works out well.
Yeah.
The other thing for me, like, being a wrestler, and, like, obviously, like, I wrestle every weekend. You know, like I'm not home in the house, like, and a lot of people who don't do this lifestyle are working all week and at home all weekend. So that's something else you kind of have to watch out for is like, okay, like, you know, I'm not going to be here. Right. And it's like, yeah. And then it's like, you're not there. And it's like, wait, why are you never here? And it's like, dude, I told you. Like,
so is it difficult?
You have to watch too.
Is it difficult to have a relationship?
That, like, I mean, you have to, like, I honestly have not pursued a relationship in the past year because I've been, like, so busy, like, trying to get my wrestling career off the ground and really hit the ground running. But I imagine that you would have to find somebody who is either totally okay with you doing wrestling and, like, just doesn't care, or you have to find someone that is doing something that is also occupying a lot of their time, and you're both on the same wavelength is what the priority is, right? So
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily have to be wrestling because there's many other things people become very invested in and involved in their lives, right? But you would need somebody that's also, like, I would assume, a driven individual who really wants to do something and is a go-getter and understands maybe putting career or, lifetime goals and opportunities over hanging out on the couch on the weekend and watching Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what do I know? I'm not a dating guru.
It makes sense.
Not a dating witch. So.
It makes sense. Did like people you knew, like say in high school, did they know that girl loves wrestling?
Yeah, I got made fun of it a lot. Like a lot of
Really?
people made fun of me for liking wrestling. Yeah,
Really?
It wasn't cool when I was in high school.
But did you then like try to hide it at all, or you're like, screw that?
No,
like,
I didn't care. I've always been somebody
Nice.
who's just kind of been myself. Like, I'm comfortable with myself. I am what
Yeah.
I am. I like what I like, and if other people don't like it, that's not a problem of mine. I was really big into skateboarding when I was in high school and like art.
Mhm.
I have an art degree. I do art
Oh,
for a
wow.
living. So I obviously that was a big outlet for me too. And I did competitive martial arts growing up. So I've always kind of been like athletic, but more from the but interested in individual activities. I never really thought wrestling was something I could pursue until I got a little bit older.
Mhm.
Because like when I was growing up, like wrestlers felt very like larger than life and like pie in the sky. Like
Sure.
people would be like, "Oh, you could be a wrestler," and I'd be like, "What are you talking about? That's crazy talk. Like those people are like celebrities, right? Like no." And then like I started to realize, like, obviously with the changes in society and like the introduction of the internet and like people being more
Sure.
accessible, that like wrestling was actually very accessible and it's something I love, and why not pursue it? I think it's an amazing experience to be a wrestler, especially as a lifetime fan. I think we're
So
all
where
fans
did-
first and foremost.
Did you know you were a witch before deciding to start training?
Yes. My family on the maternal side has many witches. My aunt is kind of the head witch, high priestess
witch.
of our little family thing. So I grew up around it, and they always say like the best gimmicks are something that's a part of you. And to me, I was like, this would be a really cool gimmick to do. Just kind of turn it
Yeah.
up a little bit. So it's that's kind of where it comes from. Is it's something that actually is very much a big part of me.
Okay,
Really
two
am a good
questions.
witch.
Two questions. One, have you ever met an evil witch? And the second question is, do you know a spell offhand that could make my nose like a normal size and smaller ears?
I unfortunately do not know any spells that can change your features. I'm so sorry. There are many different practices. There are like white witches, there are gray witches, there are witches who practice black magic. I do not practice that predominantly.
Yeah.
We are predominantly gray witches, so it's more magic that directs energy and creates balance. It's very much rooted in karma.
Okay.
I mean, like, I guess, you're always going to have people who behave with like negative intentions or like with the
Mhm.
intention to bring harm onto others, and you just kind of have to send that energy back to them. You can't make it yours. That's how I would handle a bad witch.
Yeah,
I
okay.
would return it
That's
back
good.
to them. Take it back. Take everything you're putting out there, take it back threefold, because I want nothing to do with it, honey.
How many crowns do you have?
I have many. I make them. So
Really?
I'm in the process of making a new one. This is one of my like smaller ones. My silver one's in repair. I have ones that I have like a purple one that has more crystals on it. I've got a whole bunch of them, and I cycle through them.
Did you
The big
set
thing is
out to
getting them
make
stay
one?
on my head when I do my entrances. That's like the battle I'm constantly fighting.
Did you?
I'm sure you've seen me like do my entrance and it like gets stuck in my hair.
Yeah,
my
for
head,
sure.
And I just kind of go with it at this point. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's not the end of the
it's gonna
world.
happen. It's not the end of the world.
When you
But I have
made
many. I make them.
when you made your first one, was it with the intention of using it for like your wrestling career?
Yeah. No, I make these specifically for my character.
Okay, yeah, you're not.
In wrestling. Yes, they're specifically intended. That's the intention.
So typically, how long does it take to make one start to finish?
Well, it's like a process. You have to use like they're all like found objects. So when I make them, it's like buttons or like gemstones or just that type of like notions and stuff from sewing. Like vintage buttons, I'll look on eBay and see what I can get. I use zip ties a lot to like anchor and to create the spike effect.
Oh, okay.
It's just a headband, basically. I feel like I'm giving away all my witchy secrets here.
No, I like hearing about creative people and how their minds work.
So I just kind of like lay it out and like arrange how I want everything to look. But then sometimes you have to do it in layers where you have to like put things on and then let it dry and put things on and let it dry. So it takes about like a week, give or take, to make one.
And are you constantly like thinking of ideas, or you see something like for like
Yeah,
your
I always
next
have an
one?
eye out. I always like when I'm out and about shopping or just like in places or in fabric stores or whatever, I'm always looking for stuff that I can use in either my gear or on my pieces. And I know
Do
I'm not the
you?
first person to wear a headpiece, but I do try to make all of mine like special and unique to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I could, after watching a ton of your matches, like yeah, as I'm fast forwarding, I can see, oh, there she is, and move back.
Yeah. I feel
Um,
like it's important to have a look that people can like pull you out of the crowd and identify you with, and it builds like familiarity. And it's almost like having a
sure,
brand, right? Like it's like you're branding yourself. So to me,
exactly.
having the crown and like having a style of gear is very integral to my branding. And like once you get that established, then you can be like, I think I want a pink crown. I think I want red gear. And you just kind of change the colors out, but the elements stay mostly
Stay
the
the
same.
same.
Yeah.
Do
So
you do
I
you
make my
make?
gear too. Yeah.
Oh, that was my next question. Really? How did you have any background in like sewing or
Yes,
whatever it takes?
my grandmother was a seamstress, my aunt was a quilter, my mom makes clothes. So like I grew up in a family that sews.
Wow.
Um I just, I didn't have amazing sewing skills right out the gate. It's certainly been a
Sure.
work in progress. Like if you look at my first gear I made to the one I'm currently wearing, there's been a lot of improvement.
Okay.
But it's something that's fun for me because it's just like art but with fabric.
Yeah.
It's just like another way of doing like 3D art or like sculpture on a person. I don't know, that's how I've always looked at it, and I just think it's really fun to have complete control of like your look, when you get
It's
this idea and you can make it come to life. And I know like a lot of people in wrestling draw a lot of inspiration from like superheroes or like they're like their favorite football team, but for me I
yeah.
always try to like draw my inspiration for colorways at least from like Japanese wrestlers I really like. Like I just made a Liger gear. I have a Misawa
Oh,
gear. I want
cool.
to try to get some like leopard print, like gray leopard print, and do like
Yeah.
that, but with moons too, and do like an early on Kawada gear. Like that's on my
Oh,
list too.
cool.
So I always like that's where I
Do you have
draw
like
my
a
inspiration
notepad?
from. Pardon me?
Do you have like a notepad or a sketch pad where like if you get an idea, you
Yeah.
can?
I'm constantly like my notes and my phone is full because
Wow.
I get these ideas at like 3 a.m. Like I'll get up to pee and then be like, oh my god, what would be a great idea for a gear, or what would be a great idea for a move, or oh, it would be a great spot. Like that's when it hits you. Is like when you just lay in bed. So I always like keep that close.
Wow.
But to me, wrestling, like those are my superheroes, so that's why they're my
Oh,
inspiration for my
absolutely. Yeah,
gear.
those were mine growing up, like sometimes I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I wish this guy was my dad. He'd be cool. Like, yeah, like maybe my mom will,
I mean, I
not
like
be my
superheroes
stepdad.
too, but I just kind of want to be different. I feel like a lot of stuff in wrestling's really overplayed, and we've seen a
Okay.
thousand times now. So if I can just be different, like why, when you could be anything you want to be, would you be like somebody else?
Yeah, like if you're gonna do it, like go for it. What was the call, or you came home and told your mom, hey, listen, I'm gonna find a trainer. I want to, become a pro wrestler. Was it a phone call? Was it in person?
So I didn't tell anybody at first because I was like, well,
Oh, wow.
let's see how it goes.
Okay, so how long?
Before I went to wrestling school, I was actually just like a backyard wrestler, and like I would go
Okay.
help out and do ring crew random places. But when you want to be successful, like you need to go to real wrestling school. Like I love the
Sure.
backyard; it's a great time. It's so much fun, right? But
I
it's not structured professional training, and that's
Mhm.
really what I realized I needed. And
Okay.
I remember it was like around December. It was like coming up on the new year, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go to wrestling school. And
you're
I
in
was like,
Maryland at this point?
I'm in Maryland, yes.
At that point, okay.
Or Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to wrestling school. And like, you're looking around at all the schools. And I just like, I don't know what hit me. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to apply to Black and Brave. Why not? Like, the worst they tell me is no, they're not going to take me, If you're going to go, why don't you go to the best school out there?
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
Like, and at that time, like Seth Rollins was like world champion. And it's like, that's where you want to go, right?
Sure.
Like,
Look what they're putting out.
I did the application and I wrote the essay and all that jazz. And like, I didn't say I didn't.
Did you know where it
like,
was?
Yeah, I did know where it was. I did look at that because one of the other factors that I considered was driving, and the area I live in, or I lived in at the time, Washington D.C., has a ton of traffic, and I was like, okay, like I can burn myself out and burn my car out and spend a ton of money like driving back and forth to one of these schools in Pennsylvania or New Jersey or New York, or I can just take that same amount of money and just go here for 3 months and just get it done and get it done right and get it done by like the best in the world, So that was a big driving factor in my decision too.
Okay, so you fill out like an application type thing?
Yeah, they have like an application on their website. So like I filled that out and I sent it in, and I was like, okay, like maybe they'll take me, maybe they won't, because I would assume it's a very selective process. I'm sure there's many people that want to go there. And
yeah, of course.
When they sent me the letter back saying that they would like to have me, I was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing this. And I was like, well, I guess I got to tell my mom now. I guess I didn't want like anybody in my family like panicking or like freaking out over anything. I didn't need to freak out.
Yeah,
so I wanted to make sure when I talked to them, I had everything. Like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. It's gonna be here. It costs this much. This is where I'm gonna live. Like, okay, so there was nothing for her to worry about. It's not bad.
And were you? What type of reaction were you met with this news?
They were like, if that's what you want to do, that makes you happy, go for it. Like my family always been like that. They're really like supportive. I mean, at that point in my life, like I had been through college, I had a career, I had like a house, a dog, and a car, and like all that jazz. So like I feel like there was a little bit of like, why do you want to do that? But I guess that doesn't matter. If that's what you really want to do, go do it, you know? So
now at that point, did you know anybody in Iowa?
No, I didn't. They actually offer student housing out there, which is really awesome.
Oh, that's so good. Like a dormitory type thing?
Yeah, they have like a student house, and it's super nice, and it's great because like if you're only there 3 months, it's like you can just crash and like know that you're safe with other people, and it's amazing. Nice. Like I wish more wrestling schools would do stuff like that, right? But like I said, they're the best, and they take care of us. So
yeah, exactly. How are the evenings in Iowa?
Like, is there anything? Usually, when you're out there, you're training your ass off.
So, but there's no like. There's no like, oh, I have a Friday night off. I'm gonna go into town.
Davenport is not like totally up the cuts, but it's not a major city either. It's kind of has a very big suburban vibe. There is like a downtown area. There's like little bars and little like cute mom and pop farm to table restaurants. It's actually very cute there. I feel like that's the best way to describe that.
Yeah, I'm probably being
very, very cute. It's very cute, and like they have all these little like cute little restaurants and stuff, but it's not a city, but it's not.
Would you ever go back?
In the middle of nowhere. What?
Would you ever go back to visit?
I go back all the time. I go back
multiple
times throughout the year to train.
So you packed up like your car and drove out to Iowa?
Yeah, I did drive out there the first time. It was like 14 hours.
So the morning or the night before for your first day of training, were you very nervous?
At that point, I had just like accepted that it was going to be what it was going to be, and I just needed to do this. It was what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be, and nothing was going to stop me. There was literally, when I say there was literally nothing that was going to make me quit, there was nothing that was going to make me quit. And that's a very strong statement because I was definitely the ugly duckling in my wrestling class. I did not pick it up very quickly or easily. It was something I had to work very hard at.
So in your wrestling class, I mean, in your wrestling class, were there people who don't wrestle anymore?
Actually, I think everybody from my graduating class has had at least one match. So that's cool. I think we're the only class from there where everybody has wrestled or is wrestling, which is really cool.
Oh, that's great.
But I just like, everybody was really athletic, and like, not that I'm not athletic, but like, I'm not very agile. Like, I'm more of a grappler. Like, you know, so it's like I'm not like graceful. I don't fly. I don't jump. You know, like I'm very grounded.
But you do what you do better.
Yeah, I do, and I've kind of been able to like carve out my own little spot with what my strong suit is. But it was hard for me at first because like I didn't move naturally in the ring. Like I was kind of awkward. And
was there anything from the backyard wrestling that you brought? Any of that help?
Like I knew what it felt like to take a bump. Like you're not gonna believe me when I say this, but there are people who go to wrestling school, and this is every wrestling school, not just there. There are people who go to wrestling school, they pay all the money, they uproot their whole life, and they get in the ring and they take one bump and then they walk out the door and never come back. It's a thing. But I do think that I had two advantages going into it, and I think that one of those was already knowing that it hurts and it sucks and that's what it feels like, so that was not going to be a shock for me. And doing martial arts my whole life, I was used to doing drills and used to doing conditioning and used to like having tough coaches, so like that didn't bother me either. It was like, okay, this is just what it's like, and there are many people who pursue wrestling that have never played a sport in their life, so I'm sure that's a very startling thing for them to come to terms with as well. You know, if you've never played any sport and never had to do any sort of conditioning or drills, it's it's an eye opener,
So
right?
was your like conditioning pretty good going into
I
starting
wouldn't say it
training?
was bad, but it certainly wasn't the best, if that's
Okay.
fair
Did
to
you
say.
think
Like,
you were going to be ready? Did you
I mean,
think it
I
was
thought
good
I was
enough?
gonna survive. Is that a fair statement?
Okay,
I didn't think
okay,
I could
yeah.
excel and like be the top in the class, but I knew I would be able to get through it. I did. I had to wait a whole year to go out because obviously it's like a very prestigious selective wrestling school and there's a
Yeah.
wait list. So
Mhm.
I had to wait a whole year, and I spent that whole year going before I went there doing ring crew all over.
Mhm.
And just trying to like get ready to do it, like going to the gym, getting my cardio up, doing CrossFit, like doing everything I could. So when I got there, like I was as best positioned to be successful as possible, if that makes sense.
So do you just like go and show up at shows and say, hey, can I, help out
Yeah,
with
pretty much.
anything?
Nobody says no to extra hands, especially when you're all trying to drag a wrestling ring in. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
grab a board, like we're not
Yeah.
to help. So yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. If it's a larger company, you typically would message them first and like make sure it's okay that you're there. But a lot of the smaller shows, like the smaller indies, like yeah, they'll take help from anybody. And it's really great because you learn how the ring goes up, but while you're putting the ring up, you get to talk to people and you get to network and hear their stories and learn from them. So
that's cool.
It's a good little experience for everyone to have.
Could you put up a ring by yourself?
I could. I actually could. I do know how a ring goes up top to bottom. It's a skill I pride myself on, and I could do it by myself. It might take me a little bit longer doing it by myself, but I know how to do it. And if I had just one other person with me, I could probably get it up in like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Well, my trainers make us put the ring up and make us take the ring down and make us put the ring up and take the ring down. And then like they do shows. So they do SCW Pro out there. So like, the students can take the ring and put it up and the students can tear it down. So
yeah.
I had a lot of experience before I went to wrestling school, so I kind of knew like how it worked when I got there, but I really appreciate that they made us do that because like, yeah, it's manual labor and it sucks, but it's such a good skill to have because there are a lot of people in wrestling who don't know how to put a ring up. They have no clue. Like willing to help, but they couldn't tell you like the order things need to be done in or why things need to be done the way they need to be done. So like that's something that has been very helpful to me. And I actually, when GCW is on the East Coast and in the Midwest, I do ring crew there with Big Ben.
Oh, cool.
And we kind of make sure everything gets up and running and all the chairs get down, the ring gets up there and the weapons get built and all the fun stuff.
The fun parts. Have you ever brought your mom into the ring?
No, I have not brought my mom into the ring, but she does come and watch my matches when she
gets
there.
Has she ever been in a wrestling ring before?
I don't think so, no.
Really?
Nope.
See, that would be... I've never been in one. I'd be thrilled. What was that?
It's not like a common thing, I would assume. Like, most people probably have never been in a wrestling ring, despite being
not at all.
Right?
Like if you said to me, come in the wrestling ring, I'm like, I'd be there in a second. Like,
as
a
the
wrestling
biggest reaction people have is they get into a ring and they're like, oh my God, you all fall on this?
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People are definitely surprised by that.
Now, was, Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave, were they present?
All the time.
Like, all the time?
All the time. They are there, and they're very hands-on, and they coach every class, and they get in the ring with us and teach us and work with us. Like, it's not all for show. Like, when you see on Twitter and Instagram, like, Merrick and Rollins in the ring working with students, like, that's what they do. They want everybody to be successful. Like, they're tough coaches, but it's for a good reason. And I just always have felt so lucky that they were there and willing to share their knowledge with us in that sense, right?
And can you still, like, if you need advice, obviously you go there still, but like call them and say, hey, listen.
You like send them all your matches. They'll watch it and give you feedback. Like if you're there, anybody will help you who's there. Like it's super nice. It's a great environment. I definitely feel like I'm part of a family, and it's that's the best feeling in the world, right?
Do you get like the stars treatment when you come back?
I mean, I don't know. We're all just like a family. It's like, is there really a star?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, like, obviously there's a little bit, when they always have classes going on. So like, if you've been through the class and you're a graduate, like that's a good feeling to have, right? But it's pretty much everybody works together and everyone's a team and we all have each other's backs. Like there's nobody who's more important or more special than another person.
When you walk through the door, did you say to yourself, oh, thank God I'm not here for training for the first time?
Yeah, every once in a while I do have a day where I'm just like, all right, glad it's not me. Not today.
I just thought of something. I want to make sure I ask.
But
How
no,
often
actually, it's really cool. I enjoy every time I get to go back. I feel like I learned so much just from being there. So it's just such a good environment.
do people mispronounce your name often?
It's hit or miss. It's 50-50. It's
Oh,
Kaia,
really?
but I'm not like gonna like jump in someone's face. If
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Like
Okay.
I don't care about that.
So you finish training, or I guess you're always, training, but how long before your first day and then your first match? How much time was there?
I graduated in March of 2020, and if there wasn't a pandemic going on, I would have had my first match like that next week. I would have found somewhere to have a match like right out the gate.
Were you getting things ready for that?
You know what? You could sit around waiting to be ready for that, and if you do that, you're never actually truly going to be ready. You just need to go do it because it's a good learning experience, and everybody needs to have it. So, I didn't actually get to have my first match right away because, pandemic, no wrestling.
Yeah, that
pandemic 2020.
Thing.
No wrestling until like July, and actually, GCW was really like the ones who kicked the gate down and started pandemic wrestling. So if it wasn't for them, there probably wouldn't have been much going on anyways.
Oh, for sure.
But I did get to have my first match about a year ago today in July. I guess it's August now, a year ago.
Wow.
And it's just, you're nervous and you're scared, but you have to tell yourself, like, I went to a good school. I'm trained really well. I know what I'm doing. I'm confident. I can do this. And you just have to go do it. Like, it's, you can comb it over 1,000 times and get nervous and like work yourself all up, or it's just got to go rip the Band-Aid off, right? It's like you walk through those curtains and you're like, all right, here we go, we're wrestling, and then you're really surprised by how much of it you do know, and it's such a good confidence booster to know you're going to get through it.
In that first match, were you able to like hear the fans, or are you just concentrated on like let's get through the match? As I've wrestled
more, I hear the fans more. When I first started wrestling, I was very nervous about having my match, so it was kind of like background noise. But now, I definitely hear the fans, and I love that they're there. And I really appreciate them because my first handful of matches were not in front of fans. And it's very, very hard as a performer to gauge your performance when you don't have fans, or if fans are just other wrestlers like that may or may not be cheering for you.
Sure.
So it's like you have no way to kind of figure out like if what you're doing is working or not. And just having the fans back is just such a good feeling. And I really appreciate that. And that's why I put so much time and effort into having a gimmick that the fans can become invested in and kind of play the part and hopefully feel magical too,
Let me ask you, is it amazing having people like cheer for you? Like people you don't necessarily even know?
There's definitely like moments in your match where like you're out of breath or you're tired or you're beat up or you're wondering how much you have left in the tank, and then you hear people cheering for you and you're like, okay, yeah, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. You can get back up, right? And it does energize you. I think it gives you a boost of adrenaline that you need to kind of get through the match and get yourself there, because wrestling's very, very hard and very physically demanding. So I love when I can hear the fans and I can draw upon that energy and channel it.
Do you get nervous before you walk out?
I do, and I think everybody does. I think that anybody, like people will tell you that, like even at the top level, people will tell you they still get nervous. But I think that that's because we care. And if you're not getting nervous, I would be concerned. I feel like all of my nerves come from wanting to have a good match and wanting people to enjoy my match.
Like, do you wake up on the morning?
I don't like worry about messing up or anything like that. Like, that's not where my nerves come from. My nerves come from wanting it to just be an overall good experience for everyone there.
Now, on a day that you have a match, do you wake up excited or like wake up like, I have to work tonight?
It depends. Sometimes if it's a bigger match, like I don't sleep really well the night before. It's like a good opportunity. I'm nervous. But I try to like go to the gym lightly the day before. I try not to do like an aggressive gym day, so I'm like rested and I'm not sore or feeling crappy. Try to eat a good dinner, get some rest. If I have to drive somewhere, I try to get on the road early. I would much rather be somewhere early than late, because when you're there early, you have time to get yourself settled and collect your thoughts. When you're late, then, obviously you look like an asshole and then you're rushing around everywhere. So it's like, I try to always build enough time for myself to move at a pace that's comfortable and be best prepared for the day.
Have you ever forgotten your gear?
Yeah, I forgot my knee pads at Fight Forever for GCW.
Oh, really?
Fight Forever in January. And it was really, really, really terrible because it was very, very cold in that venue. And it was like the ring had a bunch of like glass and stuff in it from matches they had had previously in the day. And I was like, I don't have knee pads. We're doing this. Wrestling without knee pads. Do not recommend. I've forgotten knee pads. I forgot my wrestling shoes. And I had to wrestle in Vans. And I was like, oh man, they're going to drag me because they're not wrestling shoes and all this other stuff. And then I saw like on Twitter, like people thought it was cool. So now I just wrestle in my Vans and I'm like, well, it is what it is. Like Carmelo wears Air Jordans, right? Like Kenna wears Vans. I love my Vans. That's what I wear when I'm not in the ring. So I like them too. They have like a good grip, like they're rubber. So like they grip better. Like I don't feel like I'm sliding around as much in the ring. If that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe.
And they fit tight around your foot?
I wear the high tops. So it has like some ankle support.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to wrestle in like low shoes. That might not be so great. But
is it like is it difficult getting yourself out there and getting yourself booked on shows? Obviously, coming off a pandemic, it's difficult.
Yeah, so something that really helped me was the fact that I had done so much ring crew prior to going to wrestling school that I actually knew people when I got back home that were like willing to give me matches and stuff. I cannot imagine not having that, like starting from scratch, especially coming off a pandemic where everybody wants to wrestle. Like it's probably immensely difficult. But I did put the work in before I went to school, so I was able to kind of fall into a nice little nest when things did open back up. A big part of that too is you just got to ask. Like I have a PDF resume I'll send promoters, and it has links to my matches and like where I was trained and all that jazz and promo photos. And I just go, hey, this is me. This is what I do. Like, I'd love to come work for you if you'd love to have me. This is my gimmick. It's fun. People like it, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of put yourself out there, and you have to like know that, you know, you're probably going to get told no, or you're just not going to even get answered. So,
is that frustrating?
That's one way to do it. It's just frustrating. Like, honestly, I'd rather someone just tell me no than not answer me at all.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And it's just the business. And, you know, if you're putting yourself out there and you're not getting any like digital replies back, then I definitely just encourage you to start jumping in cars with your friends and going and doing ring crew places, because that will help you as well. But even then, like it gets to a point where you're doing ring crew and you've got to ask for what you want, because otherwise you're just going to be stuck there doing ring crew like nonstop, right? You have to be like, hey, I've helped you out like 6 times. What do you think, buddy? You know, like you have to be your own advocate for anything in life. Like nobody's gonna advocate for you if you can't advocate for yourself. So I guess like if you're a wrestler younger or newer than me, my advice to you would be always be an advocate for yourself and be confident in what you bring to the table.
That makes sense.
Because nobody's gonna do it for you. Like, and it's
exactly.
And it sucks because it's very hard to ask for things, right? Like it's you know, you're like, oh, it's intimidating and scary, and especially like if it's at a bigger place, right? Like
yeah.
But it's important to do that.
It's hard to like brag. I mean, and I don't consider brag about yourself, you know. Like I have a hard time like tooting my own horn, you know.
I always try to make it about like what I can bring to the table that's different. Like what can I do for the promoter that nobody else can do? Because everybody can come through and wrestle, right? Like what makes me different, special, and worth their time. But it's everyone's approach is different, and it sucks because a lot of people tell you no, and then people start telling you yes, and then maybe some of those people told you no, then now tell you yes, but you don't have time for them anymore because you've got better stuff. So it's just like it all balances out in the end. You just have to kind of stick with it and keep your head up and keep pushing forward. Wrestling's very tough physically, but it's also very, very tough mentally for many people.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it can be really rough at times. Is winning like championships important to you or now?
Yeah,
or
dude, I love gold. Who doesn't like?
All right, good. You're honest.
That's great. Like, come on, yes, give me title matches. Give me all of the pretty gold titles for my altar. That's what I want. I want to be on top of this wrestling world.
Yeah, totally. See, that's a good answer. It's honest. Do you ever think about wrestling outside of the U.S.?
Yeah, all the time. Obviously, maybe not so much right now with COVID going on,
the
pandemic,
COVID,
but when things wind down, like I would love to go to Japan and wrestle, or like go to the UK and wrestle, or Ireland, or Mexico, or wherever. I mean, I think that would be really fun. I think one of the cool things about wrestling is getting to go different places and learn from different people, right? Like, because nobody wrestles exactly the same. So I would love to do some of that maybe down the road. I think that would be really cool.
Do you ever, now thinking back to when you were like a young girl, do you ever like step outside of yourself now and say, oh my gosh, I'm a pro wrestler? Like
Yeah, I think
the little girl who was watching wrestling is, that long
I
ago,
think
and
little
now
girl
you've
Kaia
done
would be
it.
super proud of adult Kaia right now.
Yeah. Okay, so you can recognize that, right?
Yeah, it's important that you give yourself credit for how far you've come, and not discredit what you've done just because it might not be what somebody else has done or where somebody else is at. Like, all of your accomplishments are worth something, even if they're like quote unquote small in the big picture.
Sure,
The fact
sure.
that you stuck with something and you saw it through and you're doing it and you're doing your thing is like such an important thing to not lose sight of. Because everything's so different in wrestling. Like, nobody takes the same trajectory. Nobody gets to where they are the same place. Like, I guarantee if you were to line up like the top 10 people at WWE right now and ask them like from start to finish how they got to where they are, like none of those stories are going to be the same. So you just have to remember that like everything is different. Everybody's time will come. Like, just keep doing your thing. And most importantly is like be supportive of your friends who get success, because don't let that make you bitter. Like, you should always be happy for people that are your friends who are
Do you see jealousy
successful.
like that?
I mean, I think that it's a human instinct. I think there's a lot of it in the world in general, and it's it's easy to like feel like, oh, well, that should have been mine, or oh, why not me, or but you have to know that like your time will come, and it's very important to be positive and have good energy for other people who are successful that are your friends.
Sure.
I'm always over the moon when any of my friends get opportunities. I'm so happy for them.
Oh, that's good that there's people out there like you, who are generally happy for other people and not bitter.
Don't get me wrong. I like to get opportunities myself.
Sure, of course.
You have to know that friends are very important, and at the end of the day, you don't want to be alone, and you need to lift each other up. Everybody can eat.
Are you able to watch your matches?
Yeah, I watch my matches back all the time because I'm not going to get any better if I don't watch them, right? I gotta watch and see what I can do better or different next time. I mean, it's a little awkward. Sometimes like I wait a day and I'm like, okay, I need to process for a day, and then like I can watch it. But no, I think that's an important part of growing as a performer, is watching your matches and getting feedback, even if it's like feedback you don't necessarily want to hear, or you did wrong. Like,
but
that can be tough.
Whatever. I mean, that's what it has to happen, I guess. It's part of the process.
It 100% does.
All right. I'm not going to keep you much longer. You're a busy person, and my kids probably hate me right now, but that's fine. Can I ask you 5 non-wrestling related questions?
Of course.
Just yes or no questions. You don't have to elaborate. Okay. Have you ever gone away with like your family, summer vacation to like a resort, and where you maybe learned how to dance and then fell in love, and then someone told your mom never to put you into a corner? Has that ever happened?
No, I cannot say that has ever happened to me. We went camping. We were redneck kids growing up. We didn't go to no resort.
But nothing to do with the movie Dirty Dancing.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Maybe one day I will meet my charming partner who will lift me up.
Yeah, that's true.
In that beautiful, graceful,
All right, number 2. Can you sleep standing up?
Oh yeah, I can sleep standing up, sitting down, on the floor. Like, I can sleep anywhere.
Can you fall asleep right away? Like, are you the person who close your eyes and they're out?
Like 5 minutes, I'm out. Like, I just close my eyes and relax.
Oh, that's like having a superpower. I wish I could do that.
You just have to like train yourself to sleep. I know that's crazy to say, but believe it or not, people are not born knowing how to sleep. Babies don't know how to sleep. Like, you have to teach babies how to sleep and how to sleep on a schedule, right? So you have to teach yourself how to sleep and find what works for you. Like, get a nighttime ritual, and then just know, like, when you close your eyes, you're turning your brain off, and you're just like, I just focus on my breathing. I just close my eyes and I just focus on my breathing, and I'm out like instantly. I sleep on planes, no problem.
Okay, I gotta try the focusing on my breathing thing.
Yeah,
I think that would help.
Really just go like dead weight and be heavy and relax. Like, let it all go.
All right, you're 2 for 2 so far. For $3.2 million, would you get a small tattoo of Gargamel from the Smurfs on your face? Maybe right here, maybe
No.
like right there. $3.2
No.
million dollars. Okay.
No,
okay.
because that's chump change in today's society.
Okay. I know it's got to last you the rest
Not
of your
worth it
life.
to me. I'm sorry. That's not
Okay.
worth it to me.
Well, good answer.
I think I like to think that I find value in my life in many things that aren't money. So
Okay,
I'm
good.
not that I'm not a financially motivated individual. It's just not the be all and all for me.
No, what the world needs people like you. So don't ever fall for a question like that. Number
I was
4.
like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm good. Somebody else
Number
might.
4.
I'm good.
Do you have a favorite brand of matzah?
Of matzo?
Matzah, yeah.
Like matzo balls, like matzo meal, like that
Yes.
type of.
Like the square, like. Yes.
Is it Manischewitz mixed matzo? Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's your favorite brand. Wow, no one's ever answered that. Then given me an answer, so that's awesome. Congratulations! And
My
finally,
aunt makes really good matzo ball soup. So,
is your favorite musician a former winner or runner-up in American Idol?
No.
Awesome. That was
Not
the one
I really shot.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you. 5 for 5. You did great. You can always use me as a reference.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, is it a stretch being ready for that August 22nd show? Is it beyond?
Yeah, it's WWR Plus. I do have a match there. I do not know my opponent yet, but I do have a match there. So,
so you are
everything in my power. That'll be my comeback.
Wow.
To have that match. I have been rehabbing like you would not believe. Like very aggressive PT.
So this is just a couple of weeks, so it's coming to fruition. Are you getting real excited?
Oh, I'm so excited, but I'm so nervous. But you know what? The best thing about the WWR crowd is like the fans are super great and they're just along for the ride, and that absolves a lot of my nerves because I know that because they're all just there to enjoy themselves, they're very forgiving and wonderful. So it makes it a lot less pressure on you. But like anything, like WWR is a huge promotion. Their sister promotion to Beyond Wrestling, which is probably, I would say Beyond and GCW are the biggest indies going in America right now.
Sure.
So it is a very big opportunity. It's a very big stage. It's a stream live on IWTV. And yes, that does make me nervous. But the fans are great. So that helps. That helps a lot.
So like once you get in the ring, are your nerves gone?
Yeah, once I start wrestling, I don't think about my nerves because I'm just like wrestling at that point.
Yeah.
But I will say that like GCW's fans are like that too. Like when I wrestled there, like everybody was like, the fans were super great, and the fans we did have were super great and super supportive, and it's like a little family of fans there too. So that's what's really nice. You don't really have hecklers or people that are being
that is nice. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Is there like a final test you're going to put your shoulder through before saying, all right, let's we're on for the 22nd.
I'd like to be able to at least do a power clean, like from the floor. Maybe not go overhead because I don't do a lot of like lifts on my opponents. I'm a very big technical wrestler. I'm really into that. So I don't do too many lifts, but I definitely plan on just making sure that like I can get through my match safely. I actually, believe it or not, I figure that wrestling will be easier for me to return to than CrossFit will be.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a great attitude.
Yeah, I think
especially for your opponent.
A little bit longer, but I think that I'll be able to get back in the ring definitely it'll be 6 weeks. So
do you have anything booked after that? Like, after August?
Do not. I'm gonna be in the Midwest for a couple of weeks. Actually, no, wait, I do. I'll be back. I'll be in the Midwest. I will be at All Out Weekend with
cool.
at the Second City Summit with GCW. So I don't know if I have any matches that weekend, but I will be there on crew.
Right,
as always. But no, really, it's great because I get to meet so many people and it's such a good experience. And I've gotten so many opportunities from like doing ring crew at GCW. It's nuts. But,
so is it fun like seeing like people you know?
Oh yeah,
and stuff?
100%. So I have that on the 12th. I have Combat Fights Unlimited, which is like the female sort of blood sport show that goes on IWTV. So I'm excited to make a debut there, especially with my martial arts background. I think that'll be really fun. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have anything else in September. We have WWR again in September, probably. So hopefully I'll be around for that. And then I'll be back up in Iowa for a couple of weeks. And I'll be back in October for some other shows that are not quite announced yet. So I have some stuff peppered in there. Just, trying to get back into the swing of things easily without going too hard out the gate.
Yeah. Is it nice having like a vault of your stuff, like on IWTV, like on show, like actual pay-per-views that are produced?
Yeah, it's great. The other thing too is like I honestly screen record all my matches and then put them on private YouTube links. So if a promoter asks, I can just send them that right away.
Oh, nice.
Because not everybody has IWTV. So, but sometimes that's nice, and it's not public, so like it's not like detrimental to IWTV.
Yeah,
but it's nice to have that so you can get your stuff around to people.
But that's
I always
screen
think
record.
Of how fortunate we are to have the internet and have social media, as much as people gripe about it. Like I remember my trainers telling me that they would get in the car and do like 6 shot on the weekend, like double shot Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh,
and I'm just
geez.
like that's a lot of wrestling. And it's just crazy to think that they would do that. And like YouTube was just becoming a thing, like DVD, there wasn't like digital media. Like, I mean, that's wild to me, because now all you have to do is like have one good match a weekend and get a good photo or GIF and ride it out on social media. Like you don't need to go have 6 matches in 3 different
that's
states.
Amazing.
I mean, I have so much respect for them and their hustle, because it's just unparalleled compared to what people do these days.
Seriously. Like the lack of the time where there wasn't the internet.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I've never met a witch before, so I totally appreciate you coming on. And I hope everything goes well.